Even your closest friends can't fully comprehend your inner experience. According to Nietzsche, this isn't cause for despair. It's your greatest opportunity. In a world increasingly dominated by external validation and prefabricated meaning, Nietzsche's philosophy offers something revolutionary: the freedom to create your own values and find strength in your uniqueness. Over the next few minutes, I'll break down 10 life-changing lessons from his work that have helped millions overcome existential anxiety and find purpose in an apparently meaningless universe. By the end, you'll understand why embracing life's chaos rather than fighting against it might be the most liberating move you'll ever make. If that sounds like a journey worth taking, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more. What if the emptiness you feel isn't a personal failure, but the inevitable result of living in a world stripped of inherent meaning? That question sits at the heart of our modern condition, a paradox where unprecedented comfort coexists with a growing sense of purposelessness. This existential paradox manifests in our daily lives. Behind closed doors, millions struggle silently while projecting carefully curated images of fulfillment. The World Health Organization confirms this reality. Approximately 280 million people worldwide suffer from depression, with young adults bearing a disproportionate burden. Anxiety disorders have become the most prevalent mental health conditions globally, particularly among those between 18 and 25 years old, the generation raised in our hyper-connected world. These statistics reflect a deeper truth. Modern life has delivered technological marvels and material comforts while simultaneously dismantling traditional frameworks that once provided meaning. Consider how many people check their phones within minutes of waking, seeking connection, yet feeling increasingly isolated with each scroll. Social media platforms transform our desire for connection into an endless pursuit of validation. We compare our unfiltered reality against carefully edited highlights of others' lives. Similarly, consumer culture promises fulfillment through acquisition, the next purchase, the next upgrade. Yet the satisfaction evaporates quickly, leaving us craving another dopamine hit. In addition, our achievement-oriented society compounds this problem. We're taught that success, defined through career advancement, financial accumulation, and social status, will deliver meaning. Yet many who reach these conventional pinnacles find themselves atop mountains that appear hollow from the summit. External trappings often fail to provide the internal purpose we crave. Friedrich Nietzsche anticipated this condition over a century ago when he proclaimed "God is dead" in The Gay Science. This statement, shocking to his 19th century audience, represented his recognition that traditional moral structures orienting human existence for centuries were collapsing. Without these inherited frameworks, Nietzsche foresaw humanity facing what he termed nihilism, the belief that life lacks inherent purpose. This historical insight explains why conventional solutions fall short today. When faced with emptiness, our cultural reflexes point us toward greater productivity, material acquisition, or external validation. These approaches often exacerbate our existential anxiety because they operate within the same systems that generated our disconnection initially. The standard prescriptions, finding passion, practicing gratitude, pursuing mindfulness, while valuable, often function as band-aids over deeper wounds. They attempt to make life bearable within existing frameworks rather than questioning those frameworks themselves. Nietzsche's philosophy suggests a more radical alternative. Instead of seeking external solutions, he challenges us to embrace our anxieties as the necessary starting point for authentic living. Rather than avoiding the void, we might face it directly, recognizing it as the precondition for genuine self-creation. This approach requires abandoning our passive consumer orientation and embracing an active, creative stance. As Nietzsche reminds us, our conscience tells us you shall become the person you are. This demands questioning everything, embracing self-mastery, and creating our own values rather than inheriting them unexamined. The call to question everything sounds liberating in theory, But in practice, it demands confronting a disturbing possibility. What if the frameworks of meaning you've relied on throughout your life, your moral code, your definition of success, your understanding of what constitutes a good life, are merely inherited interpretations rather than universal truths? This radical questioning doesn't lead to emptiness but to something far more valuable: the freedom to construct meaning on your own terms. Nietzsche's approach to philosophy wasn't a gentle, contemplative exercise. He called it philosophizing with a hammer, a method of testing our beliefs and values by striking them to hear whether they ring hollow or true. Like stress testing a bridge before trusting your weight to it. This examination reveals which ideas can bear the weight of lived experience and which collapse under scrutiny. Each belief we hold undergoes this examination to determine its substance and worth to our individual lives. Consider how rarely we question the foundations of our worldviews. Most of us inherit a complex network of values from our families, religious institutions, educational systems, and cultural environments. These beliefs become so deeply integrated into our understanding that we mistake them for reality itself. We see them as self-evident truths rather than perspectives. This unconscious adoption creates what Nietzsche recognized as a profound problem. We live according to values we never consciously chose. Nietzsche's critique extended beyond skepticism to challenge Western civilization's pillars, particularly traditional morality and religious thinking. His examination exposed the power dynamics embedded within these systems. Who benefits when behaviors are labeled sinful? What purposes do our moral codes serve? Are they life-affirming? By asking these questions, Nietzsche revealed how many timeless truths actually serve specific social functions that may no longer apply to our lives. Nietzsche's concept of perspectivism proposes that there are no absolute truths, only interpretations. Every fact we encounter comes filtered through particular perspectives, each serving different purposes. Understanding this multiplicity allows for a nuanced view of reality and frees us from the tyranny of singular truth. The unexamined assumptions we inherit form invisible prisons of thought. Many pursue unfulfilling careers because they've absorbed the belief that financial success equals worth. Others remain in stagnant relationships because they've never questioned conventional definitions of commitment. When we start examining these chains, we begin creating space for authentic expression. Breaking free requires questioning basic assumptions about how life should be lived. Why do we value productivity over presence? Why measure success in external metrics rather than internal fulfillment? By questioning social norms about careers, relationships, and life goals, we discover paths aligned with our authentic nature. Someone questioning whether home ownership is necessary might find freedom in mobility. An individual challenging conventional career paths might create work reflecting their true values. This questioning process initially destabilizes our understanding of the world. Yet this temporary disorientation creates necessary space for genuine self-creation. By clearing away unexamined assumptions, we build a worldview that authentically reflects our own experiences, values, and aspirations. The empty space created by questioning our inherited beliefs isn't meant to remain vacant. While many wait passively for meaning to reveal itself or follow prescribed paths to fulfillment, Nietzsche proposed something far more demanding: that we actively forge purpose through rigorous self-mastery. Your life isn't a treasure hunt for pre-existing meaning, but rather a canvas awaiting your disciplined creative force. At the heart of this philosophy lies Nietzsche's frequently misunderstood concept of the will to power. Often mistakenly associated with domination over others, this principle actually centers on the mastery of oneself, the drive to shape yourself into a work of art and become the architect of your own character. This perspective stands in stark contrast to both religious conceptions of predetermined purpose and the contemporary self-help industry's suggestion to simply find your passion. Consider how religious frameworks suggest your purpose was established by divine design, requiring only faith and obedience to uncover it. Similarly, today's self-help wisdom encourages finding your passion as if it were hidden somewhere in your personality. Nietzsche offers a fundamentally different approach. Humans are creative beings whose highest calling is to construct meaning through disciplined self-overcoming. Take Sarah, who lost her corporate job after 15 years. Rather than seeing this as a catastrophic setback, she applied Nietzschean principles by transforming her unemployment into an opportunity for reinvention. She didn't search for a pre-existing passion, but instead created a new path by redefining her relationship with work, eventually establishing a consulting practice that aligned with values she deliberately crafted. This process demands far more than positive thinking. It requires confronting internal weaknesses and resistances. The meaning you crave emerges from the struggle itself, the ongoing effort to surpass your limitations and reshape your character according to values you've thoughtfully created. Through this lens, existential anxiety becomes creative energy awaiting direction. The path of self-mastery leads directly to what Nietzsche termed amor fati, love of fate. When you embrace self-overcoming as your artistic project, suffering transforms from meaningless pain into essential material for your creation. This principle doesn't ask for resignation to circumstances, but for a passionate embrace of all life events as necessary components of your development. Each challenge becomes a vital ingredient in the creation of your character. Most of us instinctively resist difficulties, viewing them as obstacles to happiness. Nietzsche suggests seeing every challenge as an opportunity for growth. This radical acceptance transforms fate into creative energy and personal empowerment. Creating your own values inevitably sets you apart from conventional thinking, requiring courage to challenge norms. The person engaged in self-mastery recognizes this separation as the necessary condition for authentic living. This self-directed power transcends the need for external validation, establishing a stable internal foundation that isn't easily shaken by outside judgment. The reward of this challenging path is transforming existential anxiety into creative energy. The void that once seemed terrifying becomes the necessary space for self-invention. Through disciplined practice, you forge purpose through the persistent mastery of your own nature. This transformative power doesn't emerge from comfort. It's forged in confrontation with life's deepest struggles. While we instinctively avoid pain, seeking security at all costs, Nietzsche identified a profound paradox. The suffering we desperately flee might be the essential catalyst for becoming who we truly are. Our modern culture's obsession with comfort and ease fundamentally misunderstands how human strength develops. What does not kill me makes me stronger. This famous Nietzschean aphorism encapsulates his core philosophical insight about suffering's transformative potential. For Nietzsche, adversity serves as the soil from which our greatest capacities grow. The challenges we face are opportunities that cultivate resilience, character depth, and self-understanding impossible to gain otherwise. Our contemporary relationship with discomfort stands in opposition to this wisdom. We've developed entire industries dedicated to eliminating inconvenience, pain, and struggle. Social media algorithms shield us from challenging viewpoints, entertainment distracts us from existential questions, and modern conveniences remove necessary friction from our experiences. The result isn't flourishing, but a diminishment of our capacities. By avoiding experiences that might strengthen us, we weaken our psychological constitution. Like a butterfly that must struggle through its chrysalis to develop the wing strength needed for flight. Humans require resistance to develop resilience. Remove this necessary struggle, and we remain fragile, underdeveloped versions of ourselves. Nietzsche's critique crystallizes in his concept of the last man in Thus Spoke Zarathustra. This figure represents the endpoint of our comfort-seeking culture, individuals prioritizing security above all else. The last man avoids challenges, seeks comfort, and lives in contented mediocrity. We have invented happiness, these last men claim, while embodying lives devoid of passion and excellence. This critique targets the spiritual complacency comfort fosters, trading growth for security and meaning for convenience. In contrast, Nietzsche's ideal is the noble spirit who transforms adversity into fuel for self-development. This individual rises from difficulties transformed, extracting wisdom from life's harshest lessons. The noble spirit recognizes that profound insights emerge from tragedies, revealing vulnerabilities and desires in ways comfort never could. This principle manifests throughout human achievement. Great art emerges from wrestling with profound questions. Scientific breakthroughs follow periods of frustration. Personal transformations require confronting uncomfortable truths. Meaningful achievement requires passing through suffering, not circumventing it. This understanding reframes existential anxiety. Rather than viewing uncertainty as a problem, we recognize it as a necessary growing pain. The discomfort driving us to seek meaning becomes the essential tension propelling our development. The mistake isn't that we suffer, but that we suffer incorrectly, viewing difficulties as meaningless rather than essential components of a meaningful life. By confronting existential anxieties, we develop psychological depth that allows us to create authentic meaning. This perspective invites us to approach difficulties differently. Instead of asking, "How can I avoid this pain?" we ask, "What can this struggle teach me?" Rather than measuring our lives by ease, we evaluate them by the wisdom emerging from confrontations with difficulty, not seeking suffering, but recognizing its transformative potential when it arrives. Beyond merely accepting life's difficulties lies a more profound challenge: the deliberate pursuit of intellectual and existential risk. Nietzsche's provocative call to live dangerously isn't about physical recklessness or thrill-seeking, but instead represents a fundamental reorientation of how we approach existence itself. Consider the uncomfortable possibility that the stable, secure life most people strive for, the comfortable job, the predictable routine, the avoidance of conflict and uncertainty, might be precisely what prevents them from experiencing a truly authentic and meaningful existence. In our modern world, we've constructed systems to maximize security. We follow established career paths, save for retirement, purchase insurance policies, and organize our lives around avoiding unpredictable outcomes. This security-focused approach fundamentally misunderstands what makes life worth living. Many professionals today experience this firsthand: the executive who abandons a prestigious position to start a risky venture, or the established artist who shifts styles mid-career, often discover a vitality that their previous stability lacked. Think of life as theater. A predictable existence resembles a well-rehearsed play where actors hit their marks perfectly but without genuine emotion. Living dangerously means embracing improvisation, scary, unpredictable, but electric with possibility and authenticity.